Hey, this is Daniel Chu, aka Chewbacca, and today is day 20 out of 30 of November Rejection Challenges. If you're wondering what the heck this is, check out the link to my blog in the description below. That'll basically tell you what the hell is a rejection challenge and why the heck am I doing this. Challenge I have today is to approach a stranger and ask them to hold up this mango as if they were in the Lion King and presenting Simba at Pride Rock. So it's that like two hands out pose, holding the thing up as if like you're really proud of it and it's just been born or whatever it is. So I'm gonna ask the stranger to pose and do that while I take a photo of them. So on my scale, I think this is like a 6, maybe a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. This is a weird challenge. It's a tough challenge because it involves bothering a stranger with something really strange. Because a stranger like has no reason to talk to me. It's just kind of like I'm expecting a little bit of judgment. In order for this challenge to be easier, it would have to be either like someone not random, not a total random stranger, but someone who's like actually paid to deal with me, or an easier, simpler request that doesn't involve something really strange. And in order for this to be harder, it would have to be an even weirder request, or a request that involves something like, I don't know, something like someone actually having to like physically touch me in some way. Like I have a couple of other challenges here that involve asking strangers to apply sunscreen to my face, which is just strange. No, go ahead, please. I'm sorry. The challenge here is going to be this is gonna be okay. Actually, I'm not like terribly worried. This is like probably one of those things that's going to end up just being fun, because I think this is out there enough and abnormal enough that like people are probably going to assume that I'm doing this for some like gag prank, or possibly even like a dare, like someone has put me up to this or something like that. And in the past, those challenges have gone pretty well. Normally I get a couple of rejections, but I also get a couple of people say yes, and it ends up being really fun. So I think this is going to be interesting. I'm definitely not as afraid of this as I was when I started this on day one. On day one, I was afraid of asking a food truck attendant if I could come back and help them make hot dogs. I laugh at that now because I've done so many things since then that just completely dwarf that by comparison. But it's good. Like lots of the things on my list are kind of like moving down in terms of relative difficulty. So, this was originally listed as a 7, and probably the actual amount of like anxiety I feel about doing this is like closer to like a 4. So we'll see what happens. I'll hit up a couple of people and just try to get a range of responses, and that'll be it. So wish me luck. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can I ask you for a really strange favor?
Depends on the favor.
Fair enough.
You want us to eat it without the pill? I'm just kidding. With the pill on?
No, that's not exactly. I was wondering if one of you would be willing to pose with the mango as if you were in the Lion King as I take a picture.
My daughter is going to be very good at that. Emma, come here. Yes. She's seen the Lion King.
You've been volunteered.
Come on, Emma, come here.
That's all right. Would you be willing to do it yourself?
Yeah, let's.
All right.
So what do we do? I go
just
like
hold it up as if you're in the Lion King, and I'll just take a quick photo.
I have to go on a diet, but let's go.
No, you look great. You look great. All right.
Do I have cilantro in my teeth?
No, you look great. All right. 1, 2, 3. Awesome, I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be looking for my rights later.
Right. Well, why did you say yes out of curiosity?
I'm a good person. You didn't cost me much.
Okay. Fair.
Not in a hurry.
Great. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good.
Very interesting. There's not much that way. We shall cross the street again. Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you for a quick favor?
Depends on what it is.
That's fair. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to pose with this mango as if you were in The Lion King as I take a picture.
No.
No? May I ask why not?
I'm not a big fan of being in pictures, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, you just don't like pictures in general?
I don't like pictures in general.
Would you be willing to pose if I didn't take a picture?
Why would you want me to pose if you didn't take a picture?
I can't tell you right now.
I'm alright, man.
No?
What is it for?
All right, I'll tell you the story. Said no, I guess. I actually am. I'm terrified of rejection, so I'm actually just asking strangers for really random things through the month of November,
Okay.
to basically get them to say no. So this is like a really weird thing, and you like pretty reasonably said like, why the hell would I do that? Like, no, I don't want to do it. But the idea is that like over 30 days in November, I'm doing like a different challenge every day, and hopefully by the end of November, I will feel a lot less just like afraid of the idea of people saying like the world doesn't end when people say no. It's not a big deal.
Right.
And today's like November 20th or something. So I've actually learned a lot already.
Has it helping you out a lot?
Yeah, it has. I
Good.
think when I started, I was always really nervous about just approaching people and asking for these things, and now honestly, it's like kind of fun, so it doesn't matter as much.
There's no need to be nervous about that.
Well, you did think this was pretty weird.
Well, honestly, like I said, I'm just not a fan of being in pictures. My girlfriend gives me shit all the time for not being in pictures with her. I'm just not a fan.
That's
of being
totally
in pictures.
fair.
But that's a funny idea. Like, can you be like you're in the Lion King? Oh,
Yeah, and then
that's awesome, man.
then I was like, okay, well, what if you did it without the picture? And you're like, okay, now what the hell is this for? That's fair. Well, thanks for saying no. I'll catch you later.
have a good day.
Yeah, take care. All right. I'm gonna stretch myself today. I'm gonna cross over to Starbucks and bother a table of 3 people. Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I ask one of you for a really strange favor real quick?
You need something. You need to trade something for the mango, right?
That's a good guess. Interesting. I was
Did
actually...
the guy do that at, where the hell were we? We went to a show. We came out of a concert, and the guy's like,
Really?
we were at a farmer's market, and he's like, I have this paper clip, and I need you to get something more valuable than this. He was playing a game
Amazing.
with his buddies.
You're way ahead of me here.
Okay, go.
All right, I was gonna ask if one of you would be willing to pose with the mango as if you were in The Lion King.
Oh,
Like Simba
he
style.
wants to do that.
While I take a
For sure.
picture, I will take a photo of you.
Come on,
It's a little bit
Marston.
of
We'll
public
sign you right up,
embarrassment.
bro. We'll sign you right up, man. Come on, you can do a personality.
You've been volunteered. I don't know. How do you say no to that? No, right?
I don't even know the Lion King.
That's
What's
okay.
that?
You just do this. You don't have to see The Lion King. I promise. I promise you'll do great. In fact, they'll remake the movie just for you. I'm sure.
Okay,
You'll do it.
good.
Okay, great.
Are you gonna put her on the side of a bus or something?
I don't know. Would you like to be on the side of a bus?
What is this for?
I'll tell you in a minute.
So I don't see why.
All right. You ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. That's perfect. You look great. Thank you. Basically, what's going on here? You had a pretty good guess, actually, and I'm curious why you thought that immediately. But I'm terrified of rejection. So for the month of November, every day I've been doing a different, what I call a rejection challenge.
Oh wow.
Where I go up to strangers, I ask them really strange things. This is on the stranger side, but I've had a variety of things I've done through November.
Nice.
And the idea is that often people say no. Actually, surprisingly, none of you seem to think this was weird enough to say no to. I don't know.
Tie-dye on, bro. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, that's not why I walked up to you. I'll be
I'm
honest.
weird.
What program is this through?
It's just a personal growth.
Personal program.
Yeah, I'm just doing this for myself. I kind of read about some like rejection on the internet and was like, seems like an interesting idea. I could definitely use some of this.
Really?
Well, that's awesome.
I
so-
think
Glad
our
you're getting out
spiritual
there.
advisor maybe
No,
suggested.
no. Well, I'm self-employed, so
I thought maybe it was a Tony Robbins.
there's a, that wouldn't be a terrible guess. It wouldn't be a terrible guess, but no, it's more just realizing that as a self-employed individual, getting out there and like trying to sell people things or whatever it is I'm doing often involves a lot of rejection. It's hard, so
There you go.
figured I'd find either interesting ways to practice.
I'm
right?
sure you don't have
So-
that problem in the dating world, though.
I do actually.
Oh.
Yes. So this is also helpful there. But I appreciate your vote of confidence, sir.
Look what I did.
Yeah. No. What
Let me
was
buy
your...
you a drink. Come on, I got this lady to pose with the mango. Come on.
So you're saying I should try this in a bar?
Oh, you should.
Okay, all right, maybe I will. Maybe I
You
will.
should.
Maybe I will. But
Hey,
yeah.
nice mangoes. Will you pose with mine? Sorry.
Oh, that sounds like a pretty good rejection challenge. Yeah, right there. Well, anyway, I really appreciate your time. Looks like I interrupted
Good
something,
luck.
so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
That's good.
Take
Thanks.
care. Wow. Okay. People seem to think this one is just like silly off the bat. So. Huh. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Can I ask you for a quick favor?
Yep.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to pose with this mango while I take a photo of you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I'm looking for the Lion King pose. You know, the whole like Simba and Pride Rock thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And like look up at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks great. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Perfect. Why did you say yes?
Because it wasn't gonna. I don't know. It's kind of a non-offensive question. Wasn't really
That's
gonna
fair.
cause a problem or anything.
That's
so why
fair.
not?
That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So if I had asked for something different, then
Depending on, yeah, I mean,
Okay,
something
okay.
illegal or immoral. No,
right.
But
Well, what did you think was going on when I asked you this? Like.
that you were probably doing something for school or a class or. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. None of the above is true.
Okay. And it was all done for what reason?
I am trying to get over the fear of rejection, so I'm asking strangers for really weird things
Oh.
through the month of November.
Okay.
This is one of them.
Ah.
I was expecting you to say no, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Well, you're right though. Actually,
More
so far
reasons
nobody
to-
has said no, which
Okay. Are there
means
more
this is a
reasons
really
for
bad
yes than
challenge.
no?
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
And for this one, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Just because it's like fun and different, and
Well, yeah,
there's
you
no
didn't
harm
ask-
to anyone. And
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, also, you got to give somebody the benefit of the doubt too. So I'm not. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I look benefit of the doubtable, so.
I think you got to give everybody a fair chance. So you can't
Okay.
judge people based on looks either. So there's that
Okay,
too.
that's fair. All right, well, hey, thanks very much. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Well, good luck.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I go until I get a no on this one, because, geez, I'm getting a lot of yeses today. Which is fun. Kind of not the point. It looked like he was on the phone, but maybe he wasn't. Should try it anyway. Excuse me, miss. Can I ask you for a quick favor?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to pose with this mango for a photo.
Okay.
Okay, so
Just pose.
Yes, I'm looking for like the Lion King pose, like
Like holding up.
yeah,
high?
like Pride Rock and like like the whole Simba thing. Yeah.
Do you want me to smile or am I being serious?
That's up to you. It's
ready.
artistic interpretation, right?
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you why you said yes? Seems like harmless
Seems like
or
it's easy.
for fun or okay, interesting. So the reason I'm actually doing this is I'm terrified of rejection.
Okay.
So I'm like every day in November so far, I have done a different thing to ask strangers something where I expect them to say no.
Okay.
And I was expecting you to say no to this, honestly. So I'm
I'm an adventurous person, I guess.
adventurous
I don't know.
person. Okay.
Yeah, either one.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I so far have not gotten a no on this one,
Hey,
which is
see? It's the
weird.
mango.
It's
No, I'm just kidding.
so if I use a different fruit, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. Next time I go for what? I don't know,
It depends
pineapple.
on how heavy. Like if it was like a watermelon, I'd be like, I can't.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for your
Yeah.
time.
Have a good one.
You too.
Researching on this or
No, it's just for personal growth.
personal growth?
Yeah. No,
For
I
you to overcome your rejection.
overcome fear of rejection. Yeah. Kind of get used to what it's like to approach people with weird things, or just even approach people with things that are harmless, fun, or basically get over like the fear of
Overcome
judgments,
over
embarrassments.
fear.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot
We
of
all
lot of
have it. We all
exactly.
have it.
Yeah.
But every time you like the response is yes, you feel better. How do you feel?
It's always fun when
For
people say
you,
yes.
but-
Actually, no, it's always fun, but it also kind of defeats the purpose in a
How
weird
does
way,
it affect
right?
How this affects your fear then?
Well, it's definitely taught me that certain things are not as weird as you think they are, right? Like, I've done some weirder things. Like I walked around and I asked people if I could sign their hand with a Sharpie, and 4 people let me sign their hand with a Sharpie, and I thought no one would say yes to that, right? So it's just kind of like helped me to learn that like there are lots of things where you can reject yourself, and like we make a lot of assumptions about the world and about other people, and the truth is that there are a lot of open-minded people, and like yes, you're gonna get some rejections, but if you ask enough times and you're
And
fun,
the
enjoyable about
neighborhoods
it.
may varies, like you know the
Right,
people.
right.
Here,
Yeah.
maybe it's easier. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I should try a different neighborhood. I don't know. That's a good idea. But
Too much to explore.
yeah. But hey, thank you. I appreciate both your time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Take care.
Have a good day.
God. No nose. Excuse me, sir. Could I ask you for a quick favor? I'm wondering if you'd be willing to pose with this mango for a photo real fast. May I ask why not?
That's just too strange.
Too strange?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, there you go. Too strange. Okay, I am done asking people to pose with my delicious mango for the day. I think I asked like 5 people. And I think this is the first challenge so far where, you know, I've done like repeated exposure, and I think I got more yeses than nos. And I'm not quite willing to believe that that's a function of me as much as it is a function of the request I made. I think that this is so clearly off the wall that no one could possibly assume that it's anything other than just for good fun. There was, of course, one guy who decided it was just too strange and like didn't want to engage at all. But for the most part, the majority of people were like much more just accepting and willing in this challenge than for other challenges I've done where I thought the thing was weirder than this. I thought this was weirder than that. But yeah, I mean that was fun. I ended up having some like cool interactions, and I noticed that as I'm walking around and talking to people, I'm telling them that like no one has said no yet, and I actually realized that like no, there was that guy who was smoking sitting by the car dealership who said no, and strangely, I think that like me from like 2 weeks ago would have like remembered that no extremely clearly, and would not have forgotten that I had gotten a no. And today, instead, you know, like it's getting easier and easier for me to just forget the fact that I have gotten rejected at all, which is cool and interesting, and probably a side effect of doing this for 20 days straight. I do think my demeanor has changed a lot. You know, overall, this is just like way more lighthearted and fun, and I just you know take it in stride, whatever it is I'm doing. But yeah, so I guess it was a successful day all around. I got rejected a couple times, but also had some fun with some people who are actually really open-minded and willing to let me take their photo for no apparent reason whatsoever. Which actually reminds me, I have done a challenge similar to this before. I did these like 30-day rejection challenge. I actually went around Palo Alto back when I lived in the Bay Area, and I asked a bunch of strangers if they would be willing to take a photo with me, as opposed to take a photo of me. And when I did that, I actually ended up getting more no's than yeses. I think that's probably similarly weird to this, but maybe this is just a little, again, has the goofy factor. But I'm kind of wondering what would happen if I could now go back in time and redo that challenge with everything I know, and whether or not that would be different. So, I don't know, maybe I'll do that as a bonus rejection challenge sometime later in the month. But until then, I will be back tomorrow with day 21 of rejection challenges. Thanks for watching.